The ancient house lies quietly on a high hill, surrounded by old trees, with lush branches and leaves blocking the sun, making this place always dark and cold. The house was built in the last century, with Gothic architecture with sharp roofs like claws pointing up to the gray sky. The stones covered with green moss and the opaque glass windows are like cold eyes looking out at the outside world, but never really observing. Legend has it that since the house was built, no one has ever lived there without having to go through long nights haunted by the presence of a fierce spirit. Those who have been here all say that the house always makes strange noises. At night, in the deathly silence, they hear heavy footsteps walking on the wooden floor. The sound of doors opening and closing, even though there is no wind. Sometimes, they even hear whispers in the air, as if someone is talking right next to their ears. But when they turn around, there is only silence. The story of the house begins with a mysterious death more than a century ago. According to legend, this house belonged to a wealthy noble family. The man was named Count Armand, who lived with his beautiful wife, Eleanor. Their life seemed perfect, until one fateful night when Eleanor suddenly disappeared without a trace. People searched for her for weeks, but in the end, they only found her white dress hanging on a tree branch behind the house, stained with blood. No one knew what happened to Eleanor, but from then on, rumors about the house began to spread. Count Armand went crazy after losing his wife. He lived in a large house, but was completely alone, his mind haunted by the image of Eleanor. Every night, he lit a candle in her bedroom, sitting for hours looking into the large mirror where Eleanor used to look at herself every morning. People in the area believed that Eleanor's ghost still wandered the house, waiting to find peace. And one night, Count Armand disappeared, just like his wife had left. People found only a bloody wall behind the mirror room, no trace of the body. From that day on, the house was abandoned, but it was never truly quiet. Some curious people, not believing the rumors, dared to enter the house. They said that on dark nights, when the moonlight was covered by clouds, the house emitted mournful cries as if someone was crying from the deepest place. Sometimes, uninvited guests also encountered the image of a woman in a white dress, her long hair falling down to cover her face, standing silently at the top of the stairs. She never spoke, just stood there, her empty eyes staring straight at them, as if she wanted to say something but couldn't. Every time she did, everyone felt a chill run down their spines. No one had the courage to stand there any longer. Once upon a time, a young couple decided to move into the house, hoping to renovate it and turn it into a modern residence. At first, they were indifferent to the rumors, considering them just a myth. But after only a few nights, they began to notice strange things. The bedroom door often opened in the middle of the night, even though they were sure it was locked. The paintings on the wall were mysteriously shifted. One night, the wife woke up with a start because she felt someone stroking her hair. When she turned on the light, she saw no one, but the mirror on the dressing table showed the silhouette of a woman in a white dress standing right behind her. Panicked, the couple decided to invite a shaman to exorcise the evil spirit. The shaman was an old man with a wrinkled face and sharp eyes that seemed to see through all the secrets of the world. He entered the house and immediately felt a heavy, dense aura enveloping the space. After performing the ritual, he said that the ghost in the house was that of a woman who had died unjustly, and that she could not be released because of something that had not been completed. Every night she searched for liberation, but could not escape her own vicious cycle. Upon hearing this, the wife suddenly remembered a dream she had once had. In the dream, she saw herself standing in the large room upstairs, facing an antique mirror. In the mirror, she saw a woman in a white dress, with bloodshot eyes from crying, trying to say something. But every time the woman opened her mouth, only a soundless scream rang out. Instinctively, the wife decided to go up to that room. a place that none of them had ever dared to enter. When she entered the room, a cold air filled her, making her feel as if her flesh was frozen. The large mirror was still there, covered in dust from time, but the dim light from the candle reflected the silhouette of a woman. This time, she did not stand silently as before, but gradually moved closer. She opened her mouth, but instead of a scream, this time, the wife could hear a soft but terrifying sentence echoing from the depths. "Find me, there, under the blood and cold stone." The next morning, the wife and her husband decided to dig up the land behind the house, where they thought Eleanor might have been killed. After many hours of searching, they found a small wooden box buried under the cold ground. Inside the box was an old photo of Eleanor, along with an unsent letter. In the letter, Eleanor told of her discovery of the terrifying truth about her husband, Count Armand, a madman who had killed many other young women and hidden their bodies under this house. Eleanor tried to escape, but before she could, Armand captured her and buried her alive. The wife trembled as she finished reading the letter, understanding that Eleanor's ghost was still imprisoned by the truth that had not been revealed. After the letter was found, the strange phenomena in the house gradually disappeared.